content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained on here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by Draper Goren Holm or any third-party service provider to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever.
Yo, we're live. What's up, Mohsin?
Hey, Adam. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you feeling?
It's been a fun week. Crazy week for sure.
Another day in crypto paradise, huh?
Right. That's exactly it.
So
just another day.
Exactly. So for those who are watching and are regulars on Alone's show, I'm filling in for him right now. I'm doing a blockchain and booze takeover. No, I'm kidding. Alone had some things he had to do with the family, so I'm jumping in and hanging out with Mohsin, our latest portfolio company. You got to check him out. AKRU, making the exclusive inclusive. Amazing. Mohsin, what's going on, man? Tell us about AKRU.
So thanks so much for having us again, Adam. And AKRU is a platform for fractional real estate investments, and we do that using security tokens. We're tokenizing real-world assets, and each series of tokens is backed by a single asset. So you pick and choose which asset you're investing in, and that was the basis behind building AKRU, and that's how we've built out AKRU. And we're excited to be a Draper Goren Holm portfolio company. I believe this is the first time we're putting it out there to the public. So super excited, super psyched, and super pumped for that. I think there's big things happening over the next few months, both for AKRU with the help of DJ8. So we're excited for that. Looking forward to it.
So this is like the prequel to the announcement. We have yet to make an official announcement in the press, but for everybody that's watching live, you heard it here first on What the Block. So you guys are tokenizing real world assets. I know you're focusing first on real estate, but what's next in the pipeline?
So still everything at AKRU is all about real estate. So we're going to keep it focused on real estate, in and around real estate. So we're starting off with equity on the real estate side. Next step is offering debt, which is backed by these security tokens, and then possibly even offering a coin that has backed by an entire portfolio of real estate assets at a later stage. So expanding into that DeFi space as well eventually. So everything around real estate is what AKRU is going to be about in the mid to long term, or short to mid term, to say the least. Don't know about long term. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what's going to happen in the long term with all this stuff. I know we just had the Security Token Summit. You guys were the title sponsor for that, and you put together a beautiful presentation giving a breakdown of AKRU and all things tokenization. But I'm personally like, I know there's a lot of fans around security tokens, and I keep saying this every time I go on. I personally don't find them sexy, so I need you to make me change my mind on this. Okay, so what's the opportunity here, right? Like, why should people care?
Yeah, so security tokens really make it possible for people who are not able to invest in a specific asset class before are able to invest into it. And that's what kind of takes it all the way back to why and how AKRU started, right? So AKRU started off when a friend of mine explained to me what blockchain really was. And what I did before this was not technology. I don't have a blockchain or a technology background. I have a real estate background. I was syndicating deals. I was managing real estate and investing in real estate. I had my own PE fund where every time I was syndicating deals, it was a minimum investment of $250K. And I had a lot of friends and family who wanted to invest at times, but were not able to because of the high minimum investments. And they participated in certain deals and not others. So what tokenization does is it's everyone can invest at a level that they want. So the minimum investment that we have brought it down to is $1,000. That's one part of the solution that we resolve, right? Well, people say, hey, you can go do it by crowdfunding as well, and that problem's resolved. It's like, well, you're right, but that's where the second part comes in. Real estate is not a liquid asset class. Wherever you go, crowdfunding, wealth managers, private placements, or you buy your own building, it's not a fairly liquid asset class. And that's what we're resolving. So what we're doing is we've created a secondary marketplace where you can list these security tokens and you can sell these. and we're bringing on board market makers who would be willing to buy these tokens at a discount. So if you ever need money immediately, you have that, which has not been there for real estate previously. Now with crypto, you have the liquidity aspect to it, but you don't have the stability, right? So imagine you've got a bunch of gains from whatever crypto you're exposed to, and now you want to take a part of those gains and get some long-term stability and build some generational wealth out of it. So you could trade that into our AKRU coin and get exposure to the real estate side of things. And that coin would never, the volatility on that coin is not going to be there because it's going to be backed by real estate, and it represents the value of the underlying real estate, not the crypto in itself. So
are you telling me I should sell my Bitcoin and put in real estate?
Yes, you should always invest in real estate. A part of it only. Do as you wish, but you should definitely diversify. And part of that diversification method is that you take a part of your earnings, or you take a part of your portfolio, and there's people out there who have a small chunk of their portfolio in cryptocurrencies, and then there's other people where majority of their portfolio is built up of cryptocurrencies, right? Be it Bitcoin, be it Ether, be it any smaller currency as well. The idea is always to diversify, to have more long-term development and more long-term growth. So for people who bought Bitcoin at 17 or 18,000 in 2018, they took a beating when that market crashed, right? So beginning of last year, it actually dipped all the way down to 3,000 something, be it for a few minutes only, but it did rock bottom down there, and it was at the $10,000 level for the longest time, right? From 2018 till 2020, it was right around that level for a good period. So why not diversify? I'm not saying sell all of your Bitcoin. Maybe keep a small portion of it in other asset forms, be it securities, be it digital assets, or real estate. Or real estate-backed securities, which are on the blockchain, so easy to transfer over. So come invest in AKRU. There you go. That's the answer to it.
So let's do a use case really quick, okay? So let's say I'm sitting on Bitcoin, or someone's sitting on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, other form of crypto assets, okay? They could take a line of credit on that and put it in AKRU, right? By this tokenized real estate is what you're saying, or would that be a smart approach? Or would you not do a credit system on that?
Yeah,
because there's a lot of people like depositing their assets, taking a line of credit against it, a 50% line of credit, buying more assets, depositing it back in, taking a 50% line of credit, and just repeating that cycle over and over and over again.
Yep. Yeah. So we're going to be offering a margin account, but that's not going to be against your cryptocurrencies. That's going to be against your security tokens.
Okay.
And while you can exchange your existing cryptocurrencies for our native coin, or for another stable coin to be deposited on our platform, we only transact in stable coins, because we've got to keep the volatility of cryptocurrencies away from the real estate side of things, because that just creates complete confusion. Having said that, that product is in the works, and by the end of May, you would be able to take margin on your security tokens. So assume you put in $10,000 worth of whatever stable coin on our platform, and you buy $10,000 worth of security tokens with that. Those $10,000 worth of security tokens can then be collateralized, and you can get another $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 of debt on it, and then you reinvest that, and then you do the exact same thing, exactly what you said. So you take $10,000 and invest close to $19,250 at some point in time, by doing the exact same thing again and again, and that's where you're maximizing, your returns by investing in real estate and making full use of the leverage side of things, which is what the larger real estate investors do, right? Majority of the times they have 5, 7, 10% of their own money in, and I'm talking about the top 1%. And the rest of the money is coming in either from Fannie Mae or there's some other banking institution or something where it's a non-recourse loan where, if the market crashes, they don't lose much on it from that perspective. And they're taking the full benefit of the income from those assets or tax benefits from those assets. And that's what we want to enable every person to be able to do. So that's why we want to make the exclusive, being the commercial real estate side of things for the top 1%, as inclusive as possible and get everyone a part of it.
Got you. So on one end, you can tokenize your real estate and your assets. On the other end, you can invest in tokenized assets, right? Yep. So, okay, let's say I have a commercial building in downtown LA. Okay. I want to tokenize that. I want to come to AKRU and go through that process. Walk me through that. Is there like is it like something I do myself? Like how does that work? What's that process like for tokenizing an asset?
Yeah. So you own a building, $1 million building, just for ease of calculation.
We don't play game. No, $1 billion. That's
okay,
what
$1 billion building in downtown LA, right? And you want to tokenize it. So you reach out to us. There's an outreach form. There's a section on our website which says, hey, submit your property, reach out to us, interested in selling your property. And we have that at multiple portions, but including the homepage. You fill out the form. We get some initial information on the asset, and within 48 hours, we call you back after doing our initial due diligence on it. We ask you for some more information about the asset. We talk about what your aims and your goals are with selling it. You want to sell all of it. You want to sell part of it. Where it stands in terms of how much leverage you have on the asset or you don't, and what the terms on that are. And we tell you, hey, we can do this or we can't do this, just based on that initial due diligence. Majority of the times, we want to make sure that, or rather every time, we want to make sure that by tokenizing an asset, the interest of the token holders is considered the same as the interest of the current building owner. And so if someone has $1,000 invested or $999 million invested, their interest should be aligned, and it should not be separate interest. And so we want to watch out for every investor's interest within these investments. So we have to run through rigorous due diligence processes. But for you as the asset owner, it's fairly simple. You fill out the form, you give us more information, we negotiate down to a price, we negotiate down to, I want to sell 50% of the building and retain 50% of the building. So we're for a $1 million building, that's 1,000 tokens at $1,000 each. So $1 billion, there's what, 10,000, 100,000 tokens at $1,000 each, okay. Right? So you get to keep 50% of those tokens, and we list the 50. We put the other 50% of the tokens on our marketplace for sale. So we create the offering, we market the offering. We obviously encourage that you let your people know about the offering as well, if you know anyone who may be interested in buying. But we kind of take over the entire process from there. We've got a central marketplace where all new offerings and existing offerings, primary and secondary offerings, go on there. We take care of all the legal, the compliance, the investor relations, day-to-day management, if you're an individual who's selling the asset as well. So we want to make sure your interests are protected as the asset owner, and the token holders' interests are protected as the future asset owners as well. So
very cool. So could this also work for residential, or do you guys only focus on commercial?
So there's a cost associated to not the tokenizing aspect to it, but the regulation side of things, right? So every asset that is tokenized and there's a new offering created, there's a pretty substantial legal and financial cost associated with it, and a compliance cost associated with it on an ongoing basis. So we have another product which is purely focused on individual ownership, which is an NFT based product. And NFTs have become the thing very recently, compared to, like, we've had this product in the offering for the last year and a half, and we've been working on a couple of projects with in developing countries, which is more focused on residential, and that is a land registry product. So the ownership is represented on that NFT. That NFT acts as the land registry product on it, and that's brilliant and doable on the residential side. But tokenizing the residential side is not the tokenizing aspect, but the securities law side of things. It adds a fair amount of complexity to it and makes it fairly expensive and not worth the hassle of doing it. Now, if it's high value assets, which are in very set specific locations, then it definitely makes sense to do it.
It's funny that you bring up NFTs because I've been thinking a lot about like what is the intersection between digital ownership, right, and digital assets or physical assets, right, and specifically in the real estate market. So let's dive deep into that for just a minute, because you're bringing up the use case of transferring ownership through NFTs, right? What other use cases do you kind of see on the horizon when it comes to that? Beyond ownership, transferring ownership, right? So the intersection
or
between
NFTs and real estate.
Yeah, NFTs and physical real estate. Like I see the potential, obviously, through digital real estate, buying plots of land through NFTs, right? But what comes after that for physical real estate beyond ownership?
Yeah, so it's even in the form of investments, right? So from day one, AKRU's been thinking about, hey, fungible versus non-fungible tokens.
Sure.
So where do we want to make use of the non-fungible tokens is when we're selling these investment portions per se. Again, that $1 billion building in the heart of Manhattan, maybe you should, if you want to be able to tokenize the building to a point where, hey, there's 1 million square feet of space in this, and one token represents 1 square foot of space, and this specific square foot of space, that's one use case that we've been looking at for using NFTs as well specifically, and then selling those NFTs as economic right, not as a title of ownership. So if someone buys 500 square feet, which represents 1 retail store in that building, and for as long as that retail store is rented out, they would continue to receive the income from it. The moment that stops, they would not receive it, and anyone else would not get income from that, because they're the ones who own all the tokens, the 500 tokens representing the ownership of that, 500 NFTs representing the entire ownership of that retail store. Similarly, if there's a penthouse or a top floor office suite that is a high premium asset, you could buy those tokens specifically, or NFTs specifically for that specific asset, and that's what you would use. So how that works out overall is, so when you're using fungible tokens or how we're doing it, every token is valued at $1,000, right? And the entire building is worth $1 million or $1 billion, at least for the initial offering. In this case, every token would be valued at its own specific value. So retail token on this specific corner may be worth $1,100. The penthouse token may be worth $5,000, and then something on the 30th floor may be worth $700 or $600, or and if it's got some kind of other aspects on the building, so something on the 14th floor may be worth even $100 or something on those lines. So there's plenty of use cases of NFTs within real estate from that perspective. There's the land registry is obviously an easy, simple use case and something that's been looked at for a long time. There've been talks about people wanting to do a lot more with it in real estate. I don't foresee that happening. I don't see what the use cases on that would be, but yeah. That's my 2 cents of that.
Very cool. Yeah, it's interesting to see how that's going to play out down the line, especially with art and music and now fashion kind of picking up traction with NFTs. I'm excited to see how that plays out, and you guys take the forefront of that. So I got a question for you. Okay, I got a lot of friends and family in real estate, and the markets are absolutely insane. People, houses that are being listed are going 20-30% over asking, right? Like, what the hell is happening in the world? Can you explain why these houses are flying off the shelves like pancakes? Like, what's going on?
So let's use the example of the Toronto market, for instance, right? Okay. So Toronto is the exact same way as what you said. Every house is selling, 40% over list, 30% over list, and every house is appraising for that value. And very few times are people putting in money out of their own pocket. Why is that happening? So it's a simple example of supply and demand, right? There is not enough supply of housing in the market, and there is a lot more demand for it. So there's more people out there, especially with the mass exodus from downtown Toronto into the outskirts of Toronto. That's what's caused the value of housing to jump up so much, and the value of houses to jump up so much. The second thing that's happening is people are playing smart with it, or there's gimmicks to it, where if a house is worth $1 million, they're just listing it for $799 or $800,000. So now they're getting a lot more offers on it, and therefore getting into multiple offers, and therefore it's going. Once you're in multiple offers, everyone wants to bid more and more and more. So while it may be selling for 1.1 million, which may be 10% higher than what the original market value would be, it's selling 40% above list because it was listed at $700,000 or $800,000. So it's a combination, in my opinion, within the residential side. It's a combination of gimmick versus supply and demand as well. We're at an all-time low in terms of market inventory when looking at residential real estate, be it single-family homes, be it condominiums, be it any form of assets or units for sale. And this is across North America. This is not just Toronto or LA or San Fran or anywhere else. And the real estate market is just one representation of the entire. The residential real estate market is one representation of the entire real estate market as well, right? So while it's going crazy on the retail side, you have the highest ever vacancies on the retail side, where again, the numbers are not all that crazy, not as crazy as people think, but it's still they're all-time highs from that perspective. I believe I was reading somewhere the office occupancy levels are at an all-time low in New York at it's like 86% or something like that. And the average occupancy is 91%. So you're not off by much. Yes, it is a big difference, and it will get caught up eventually, and it is causing trouble for some. But it's not like office buildings are in complete distress where its occupancy is down to 50% or 40%, and no one's using these spaces or anything on those lines.
Interesting. It's like as if, you're talking from the Toronto point of view. I'm thinking about LA, where I'm based. It's as if LA wasn't already expensive enough. Now houses and everything else is just skyrocketing, making it even more impossible to live here.
Right. I used to live in Palos Verdes before I moved to Cincinnati, and I just use Toronto as a completely separate example, just for that reason. So I don't include my personal experiences in there from that perspective. But yeah, affordable housing is a major issue, right? And that's be it low-income group housing or actually just regular housing being affordable in places like San Fran or LA,
sure.
In just where rents are skyrocketing, where cost of housing is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And I think tokenization can really come in and play a factor in that. There are socially conscious investors out there who wouldn't want the highest possible return, but would want a much larger social impact. And this is a great way for them to put together their efforts for, be it affordable housing, be it economic impact investing within for specific regions and areas and neighborhoods. So taking the example of Ohio, you can invest in a specific neighborhood, and we're currently working with one of the local cities in Ohio in trying to fund the tokenizing a park and funding the redevelopment of that park through those tokens, and then whoever owns those tokens would get some form of tax credits because of their investment in that park asset. So a more social impact investment, but you get to write off a whole bunch of your taxes on the other side of things as well. So not a contribution, not a tax write-off like that, but like a true state tax credit for dollar for dollar reversal or refund or return on your investments kind of deal.
Got you. Okay,
so there's a lot more impact from that perspective as well.
Got you. And we're coming close on the time, so I have three more things to ask you. One from me and two from the audience. Okay, so would it be, and answer this briefly, quickly, we'll do a fire round. Would it be worth it for me to purchase my own real estate or invest in real estate through security tokens like a commercial building, right? So like invest in retail or invest in commercial through AKRU? What makes more sense?
I would invest in commercial through AKRU, and I'm not saying it just because I'm the owner of AKRU, just because if I have $50,000 and I can only buy one asset, or $5 million and I can only buy one asset, that's just one asset. And when investing through AKRU, I can invest across 50 different assets and diversify from that perspective.
Got you. And do you guys provide that analysis for the investors, like the performance of the property, what the expected growth is over the coming years? Like you guys do all that stuff as well?
Yep. So we've kind of broken down the super complicated PPM and offering documents down into a single web page for every asset, where you can look at how it's performing, last distribution, expected distribution, next distribution dates, historic performance, and so on and so forth.
Okay, so I know that was two questions for me, but let's bring up some from the audience. So this one comes from John. Sorry if I missed it, but what blockchain are the assets tokenized on?
So we were originally built on Ethereum, and our thought process is that the blockchain, the underlying technology, that blockchain should be utilized as the underlying technology, and that's how we use it. We are currently in the process of moving over, just because the cost of running it on the Ethereum blockchain is extremely expensive. We're exploring Algorand, Tezos, and Binance. We will figure out which one it is and make that transition into a quick one to make it more affordable for everyone.
Cool. Next one. This one comes from Lyrics Only. So if I want to invest $1,000 with AKRU, how would that grow over the years, or what use would I get from it?
Right. So $1,000, you could deposit $1,000 on your account on AKRU, and it would not grow or it would not decline over 10 years. It would remain $1,000. You've actually got to go buy a security token that represents ownership in any asset for that to grow. And again, it depends on asset to asset. There's certain assets which have an expected IRR over 10 years of 22%. There's others that have an annualized yield of close to 8%. So depending on what your risk tolerance is, what you want to do, and we provide all of that information to the investors out there. And it's simple, easy to understand. It's not detailed, complicated disclosures where we try to provide it. We've tried to make it as simple as possible. And it's all out there for every asset. You pick and choose which asset you're investing in and what kind of investment outlook you're looking for.
Amazing. Killing it, Mohsin. Killing it, man.
Thank you. Yeah, well, these are not guaranteed returns. Every investment has
right, and none of this is financial advice. Like we pushed in the beginning. You always got to do your own research, invest at your own risk. Right. We are not liable or responsible. Right, we just create informational content. That's all it is. Before I let you go, where can we find you? I know we have your @ symbol in your name tag, but where can we find AKRU? Where can we find you?
Right.
And I got one more question for you after that. Yeah.
So AKRU.co, AKRU.co. You can always email me at mmasud@AKRU.co. Find me on LinkedIn or Twitter, Instagram. I should have the same name across all. Just look it up, just as it's on the screen. And @mmasud is on Twitter. So yeah.
Perfect.
And
nice. And last question: why AKRU? What does that mean? AKRU. What does the name mean?
Right. So there's a lot of history behind the name. And we recently changed through it, but the name AKRU is derived from accrual of wealth, right? So just like people would accrue interest or accrue
Okay.
wealth and would grow wealth. And our logos are triangle as well. So it's like you're constantly accruing and you're piling up your wealth and you're heading in the upward direction.
Amazing.
And that's the idea behind it.
Amazing. Mohsin, you rock. I want to bring up the cheers. I have a glass here. I have a coffee here. Cheers. I'm integrating the blockchain and booze. Fun. But you've been awesome. Guys, go check out AKRU. Mohsin, you're amazing. You have a great team. And we're very, very excited to welcome you as an official portfolio company to the Draper Goren Home family. And again, for those who joined late, I'm filling in for Alon. And I got a Tuesday show also through Draper Goren Home called Blockchain and Booze. It gets live streamed on Cointelegraph every Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. And a quick plug about us. If you're new to the show and you're first contact with Draper Goren Home, we basically, why isn't this coming up? What's going on? Boom, there we go. Outside of doing these killer events and firesides, we also make early stage investments into some of the best, or if not some, all of the best cryptocurrency and blockchain companies in the world. I say that with confidence and pride. And we also produce, we are producing over 100 events, industry events this year alone, from LA Blockchain Summit, the Global DeFi Summit, the NFT Summit. We just had the Security Token Summit, which Mohsin was the title sponsor of, What the Block, which we're doing right now. And of course, last but not least, Blockchain and Booze. Guys, thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. Peace out, Mohsin.
Thanks so much.